Hello friends, here's Lonesome Gamer, and I'm still playing 1856. And it's kind of interesting because the train rush went actually much slower than I expected. The 5 trains are gone now, just barely. It was a tough decision for the CV to buy that last 5 train, but they did it. And there was an expectation that once the 5 trains were purchased, the 6 trains will fall pretty quick. But actually, interestingly enough, nobody is really willing to buy these trains, right? We get the Grand Trunk, which doesn't have enough money. They have a 5 train. The Canadian Pacific has over 1,000. So they are more interested in a D train, for example. You know, buying a 6 train might not be a very good idea for them. In addition to that, they hold a 3 train at the moment, which doesn't sound too great, but that's all they can run right now. And even if they make a connection here, you know, they don't really need a 6 train, at least not at the moment. So they also have time and might simply wait. The Great Western doesn't have the money. The Credit Valley just bought a 5 train, so they are at the train limit. And they also don't have that much money. The Wellington doesn't have the money. Buffalo doesn't have the money. The LPS, well, they are running 2 trains. They are not too eager to make their 3 train obsolete. And apart from that, at the moment they are at the train limit. Same applies for the Toronto and Hamilton. And the Welland, well, I mean, if this player buys a 6 train, his 3 trains are gone, and at the moment he's making a lot of money with them. Anyway, first we're going to see a stock round. And there's not too much money in the treasuries, because mainly people try to prepare their companies for the big trains. So there were some swallowings. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. This guy has about 200 bucks. Yeah, well, I think it's definitely an interesting decision to invest in the Credit Valley right now. That's probably the strongest company right now. And yeah, it's another 75 bucks, which go in the treasury of the Credit Valley. That is pretty awesome, because now they have 500 bucks in here. So if they swallow once more, they also can buy a diesel probably. So I'm at the end of the stock round. Not too much interesting happened. People invested in the Grand Trunk, the Buffalo, Credit Valley, depending what was left. Nobody started to invest in anything of the companies which might fall into the CGR. This guy still has 200 bucks left, which kind of bothers him. This guy has 100 left, but there are no shares out there that can be purchased at the moment. I mean, it's still possible to start a new company, but to do that, they didn't have quite the money. So right now, they decided, okay, we're just gonna wait maybe one more cycle before we start another company. This guy took a little bit of a risk by buying a second share here of the BBG. Technically, it would be possible that he drops the presidency on him, but it seems like a pretty safe bet that this is not going to happen. It's got a 5 train here. There's a lot of money in there, so it is also unlikely that we see that many train jiggling over here. There's also a lot of money in there, though, so I don't know. It's hard to tell, but for now, he took that risk, and maybe it was a stupid idea. It's hard to tell, but I don't think so. Okay, so we go now in the next operating rounds, and let's see what we find. The GW goes first. Well, not too many options here. I guess we simply run and try to make as much money as possible. It's the BBG's turn. Not too much happened with the other companies. They just did their runs, paid out, and but now it's the BBG. And first they want to upgrade now the city. It's the first time we see that, these double dots getting upgraded like this. And then I guess they want to place a token in Toronto. Yes, they're going to do that. That will cost them $40. Okay, there we go. Fine, and now they're going to take a loan. The idea is the following. I want to transfer this money into the LPS and buy that 3 train. The LPS will then have, well, if I took the loan, the LPS will then have that much money, 1,450, to buy a 6 train and upgrade their 4 train into a diesel. So that's the plan. But I have to take a loan, otherwise I'm missing about $25 or something. It's not a big deal, you know. I can simply repay the loan as the president here, and it would not be the full 100 because I can leave the money that is not absolutely necessary for the LPS in here, and then I could simply pay, I don't know, 30 or 40 bucks or what's necessary, and that's not a big deal. So, and then I'm going to make my run with the 5 train. And I upgraded this city now, so this is 110. And I can maybe go around like this, you know, and then make a connection again to Toronto. That would be crazy. 110, that's 150, 80, so that's a 210 run. Okay, so after paying out a dividend, the company will now buy the 3 train for pretty much, well, no, not for all the money there is, because only the money we need. So that's 1,000, 100, 200, 3, 4. We need 1,050, right? So let's do it like this. Okay, and the rest simply remains in here, so that we don't have to pay too much back for the loan. Yeah, that's perfect. Now the others might be a bit suspicious here and say, ah. And by the way, the 3 train now obviously goes over here. And maybe now they see the preparations here and trying to do their own stuff. We'll see about that. Next, it's the Grand Trunk. So the Grand Trunk is cut off here. They don't have a connection to here anymore because now of these 2 stations here in Toronto. Still, they have a 5 train, so they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's probably the best they have. 160 for Toronto. You can do that. 180, 190, 220. Still a good run. and lots of room for improvement here. The Grand Trunk actually reconsidered their play. What they want to do is they place this token there, and then they add that tile, and then they're going to place a token in this new formed city here for 40 bucks. And after that, they're also going to take a loan, because they got a feeling like, hey, I got a ton of money in there. You know, it's about, I don't know, 600 bucks, okay? So if I take a loan now, I could afford a second train. If I wait one more round, these two trains might be gone. And it's going to be very hard for me to afford a second train if only a diesel is available. I mean, I could still upgrade this to a diesel, but you know, the swallowing and all, it's an expensive thing. So in this way, swallowing once allows me basically to get an additional train. And I think this is worth it in this situation. So, but I had to take a loan if I wanted to place another token. And that is also very important to place that token, because otherwise I might get cut off here, and I cannot run two trains if I'm only sitting here, you know. At the moment I could go in this direction and then in this direction here, and I can run my two trains in a reasonable way. Otherwise it would not be possible. And now actually, first of all, the Grand Trunk has to pay 10 bucks interest, and then let me see, do they have the money? 1, 2, 3. Yes, they do. They're gonna pay. It's expensive for this player here. He has to pay the credit or the loan now, but still, he wants to do it. Now the Grand Trunk player buys himself for 700 bucks the first 6 train. Okay. And now a lot of stuff is going to happen. First of all the 3 trains are scrapped. Okay. Then the players, now let's see. Let's see how exactly that works now. We have, well, here we go. It's phase 5 now. Okay, so Canadian Europe, yellow, green, brown, and gray. Look at that. Already gray tiles are now available. Small cities may be upgraded, downgraded. Oh, wait a minute. Shit. Oh boy. That wasn't even possible. Shit. Well, that kind of sucks. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have placed my token there. Wow, I'm not sure if I want to do it then. I thought I could have done it already, but actually I couldn't. So I kind of, did I cheat? I think I cheated here once when I upgraded that city. Nah, fuck it. Okay, I'm not gonna undo that now, but I'm not gonna allow these guys to place a token there, because technically that should not be a city. Shit. That sucks now. Okay, so what I did is I basically placed this thing now here. Again, that was there before. I know I cheated with the runs, I think twice or so, but yeah, it's not it's not that bad. I mean, it's just 20 bucks, so I think it's okay. But it's important that I cannot place a tile here before I purchase my train. So I mean, I still could place a station marker in Toronto. The problem is, if I purchase a train right now, I had to repay my loan. I had to repay my loan. And then I would not be able to place a tile anymore because I simply would be broke. The company, not broke, but the company would not have any money at all in the treasury anymore. So therefore, I could not place a station. And it makes no sense to run a train in this position with a single station. So basically, I have to place a station marker before I purchase that train. And I don't think I get another chance in the second operating round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my station marker in Toronto. And now because I can upgrade Toronto, I would no longer be cut off there. And I can then still, maybe even through a city here. Whatever, we'll see about that. It's not the greatest idea though, but yeah, kind of sucks a little bit. Still, I think it's okay to do that. I mean, basically, I probably want a station marker in Toronto. There is a risk that the government railroad will place a marker there, and then I might get cut off. So therefore, I think placing a station marker in Toronto is worth it anyway. And then I'm going to buy the 6th train. And now we are in phase 5. 2 trains. The CGR up to 3 trains. Diesels are available right now. What? Wait a minute. Yeah, of course, diesels are available for purchase. Great Lakes. The port token is removed. Okay, so this goes away. 3 trains go away. From now on, we have 3 operating rounds from the next stock round. And now we also have another certificate limit, probably. But we're going to see that when the CGR formed. So now we got to check for the loans. Every company has to repay their loans. Okay, and that player who purchased the 6th train will start doing that. So the companies of that player, where he holds the presidency, they have to start. And what I can do now is I could decide, do I want there is not enough money in there, right? There are 20 bucks in here. So the company will pay this. That's for sure. The company will pay these 20 bucks. Okay. So, in addition to that, there are still 80 bucks left that have to be paid for the loan. Now I can decide as a president, do I want to pay these 80 bucks and keep the company, or do I not want to help the company? And then the company will automatically be transformed into the CGR, the Canadian Government Railway. And my shares will be replaced on a 2-to-1 ratio. And that's the problem. That's why it's not a good deal usually to do it. The CGR can become a very powerful railway. And you know, we'll see a lot of the train here might also go into the CGR, at least for now. And there will be a lot of stations belong to the CGR because the old stations will be replaced. Still, I don't think... It's a tough call. It's interesting. It would be interesting to say, okay, I'm going to let my shares fall into shares of the CGR. That would give me then 30%. But because there will be more than 10 certificates or 10 shares given away, because there are so many shares out. Let's count. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16. Oh boy, that's going to be a lot of shares, man. 17, 18, 19, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think it's 25 shares, and these in addition to that. So I don't know, I think we need overall 30 shares, so we probably need 15 shares. If we all convert them in a 2-to-1 ratio, we're going to need 15 shares, and that means that a share will only be worth 5%. So the CGR is going to make great runs, but the problem is it will not make, the 5% shares might not be that great. It's hard to tell, but I don't think so. I think I want to keep my company, and I'm going to pay. I mean, I might roll a die on that. It's probably a bad idea. So I make it only a 1, then I'm going to let it fall. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pay my loan. And it's a great company. It probably would have been pretty stupid. So yeah, I'm going to pay the loan, and that means that I got to pay $80 into the bank. So now the CGR, until now, it hasn't formed because I paid my loans. Next player is the owner of the Great Western. So the Great Western will pay $80, but there are still $320 to pay, and that is not possible. So that means at this point the Great Western will be transformed in the CGR, and we're going to do that later. But for now, it's just, I don't help them, so that's it. What about these guys here? Well, these guys here, they pay $100, which is still not enough to pay back all the loans. He doesn't want to help them. I mean, there are no trains. It would be stupid to do so. Here, I mean, that might be an interesting choice to say, okay, I'll hold then 15%. Now I hold 6 shares. So that would mean I would hold 15% of the CGR, but that is just not enough. It could be the presidency, though, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do that. I want to pay out my loan, especially there is a lot of money there. Yeah, I'm going to do that. It's a stupid idea. It's just, I mean, on a 1 I might consider it, but no, I'm not going to do that. So therefore, it's 35, $39, 40, 90. Yeah, so I got to pay. I got $15 back. Somewhere I made a mistake. It wasn't even necessary to pay all that stuff. I had more than. Yeah, I had to pay maybe, I don't know how much exactly. I just counted all the money and I realized there was more than 100, so I gave the rest to the player. That means the loan is gone, and the Buffalo, Brantford, and Goderich can also run now. Okay, by the way, from this point, loan cannot be taken any longer. Okay, this guy here, the Welland. Well, the Welland obviously will go away. No, he's definitely not willing to pay $400. So, yeah, that's also done here. And that's it. So now we got to replace the shares of the players. Again, starting with this guy, I think. And then going in turn order on a 2-to-1 ratio. So that means this guy has 4 shares of the Great Western. And that means he will get 2 shares of the Canadian. And because we already can see, so, and by the way, he will be therefore also the first president with his 2 shares, you know. But we already know that these 2 shares will be only worth 10 and not 20%, because we will need more than one set of 10 shares to satisfy all the needs here. If there would be less than, if there would be just 20 shares out there of other companies, then each share of the Canadian would be worth 10%, but in this way that's not going to be the case. This guy here, he holds the Wellington, 2 shares. That gives him a single share, 5% here, of the Canadian. All the shares are removed from the game of the companies that will go away, and also these sheets and all. This will all go away. Here everything remains. This guy will lose also 4 shares, but gets 2 shares. But the presidency stays with this guy until someone else will get more shares. And this guy, well, he won't get any shares. Okay, finally, we have a ton of shares in the bank. 1, 2, 3, these are 5 shares. An additional 5 shares, so these are 10 shares, and 4 more. So that means we got 14 shares in the bank, so that means 7 shares of the Canadian will go into the market pool. Okay, now this is our sheet here, and the president, of course, will receive it, and I made a mistake. And basically, the Canadian starts with the money of the swallowed companies in the treasury. So they don't really pay it back. If they cannot pay it back, then it seems that the money goes in here. That remains. I think we had $20 here, if I'm not totally mistaken. But I think these were $20 here, and I think we had $100 here. So I think overall I can remember that. And there was nothing up here, or was there? Shit. No, I think actually there was nothing up here. I think we made that strange deal which brought all the money in here. So I think there was nothing in there. And it was only these 3 companies. So this company will start with $120, and in addition, they have to keep the permanent trains, and they may keep the 4 trains. Okay, so that's also now already the interesting question. Do they want to keep the 4 train or not? Well, I think they don't, because if they don't keep it, if they don't have a train, they can borrow a diesel. And I think that is much stronger than the 4 train. So yeah, I'm not going to use that train. The train goes back. The train goes into the bank pool now. So people might buy this train, but it won't last long, I guess. Because if the first diesel is purchased, that train will also go away. By the way, these shares here, the remaining shares, they are sitting in the initial offering. Okay, so people can buy these shares. Okay, we have all these little markers here. All the CGR markers, which are now all over the place. Okay, there we go. Now these markers can be placed here. The CGR has overall, I think, 10 markers. And for now, oh boy, the markers of the companies that were swallowed will be replaced by markers of the CGR. So just like that, right? The CGR also cannot have two markers in the same hex. So in this case, only one marker would be replaced then. Over here, but you can already see how powerful they are. They are sitting in all the important areas now. And they will make massive runs. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what they can come up with. Okay, so what is now the share value, the starting share value of the CGR? Well, it is the average of the companies. There are more than 3 companies involved. Then the more than 2 companies involved. Then the lowest company will not count when calculating the average, and it will never be below 100. Okay, so there's a lot going on here. We have okay, we got the Wellington and these guys, so they are sitting at 175. This one is ignored, so it seems to me like the average is actually 175, and that is pretty amazing. So I think what happens now, although I'm not absolutely positive, we're going to mark this as a par price, but I don't really know that. And in addition, I think I'm going to place a marker here. This is something I have to check. Okay, so I checked the rules now again, and basically what happens is this 175 is indeed the par and the actual share value, but it is placed here at the very top. Okay, so that's where the CGR value is now positioned. There can be more than 50% of the CGR in here at that exact point, but if players want to buy CGR shares, they got to pay out of this first until this is at 50%, and then can proceed buying out from the par value or from the initial offering. But there are not 50%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's only 35% in here. In addition, because now this second issue of shares exists, the CGR shares only count as half a certificate when it comes to the certificate limit. And in addition to that, the certificate limit also changes now. Until now it was just depending on the players, the number of players, and it was 13. Now it is the companies and the players, okay? And it's the companies that are not in the CGR. So basically all the companies available in the initial offering, and in addition to that, the CGR itself and all the companies that are already started. So that means we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 companies. And we have 5 players, so we now have a certificate limit of 15. Okay. So a little more than before. Because one of the two of the companies that went into the CGR already operated this turn, the CGR will not operate during this turn. Otherwise, it would operate immediately. But yeah, that's not going to happen. So they don't have a train. They have $120, and the share value is at a massive 175, which is extremely powerful. So I'm pretty sure the shares will go away pretty soon. By the way, the share value is frozen there as long as they don't have a train. So we'll see where that goes. They can borrow trains and whatever. There are a few funky features for the CGR here. So the president don't have to buy a train, for example. That's definitely an advantage for him. Okay, now next we see the CV. And now it's interesting, because this player has now actually the option to exchange a 4 train into a D train. He was very lucky that he can do it now. And actually, that is not true. The THB is next. So that is interesting. It's not the CV, but the THB. I forgot about that. I didn't see that because the THB is right off the CV. And that is an important factor now because, well, we see where that... Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see about that. So first of all... Well, first of all, they're going to lay track, I guess. What are they going to do? Will they go for Toronto? Well, maybe not. Maybe they prefer something more in the east. In the west, I mean. What about making this? I think that would be extremely powerful. It's not quite as cool as I thought, but it's still, yes, it is cool. It is super cool. We're going to make this little connection down there. And that would be awesome to have a diesel or a strong train. So let's see. First we can now make a run. 80, 120, 170. No, that's not true, because I'm not sitting there. I see. It's not that simple as I thought. I cannot go to Toronto. That kind of sucks. I think I want to upgrade actually this space here. Now I could upgrade Hamilton into a big city, but if I do that, I cannot make cool passes like this and that. You know, that would be awesome to make money twice on that city. But if I upgrade Hamilton into a bigger city, I cannot make that much money there. But we'll see. Maybe someone else does it anyway. So now I can go to Toronto from here. I got a 4 train. So I will probably start here. So it's 30, 80, 120, That's 200. Okay, cool. Let's see what we want to do. How much money do we have? Well, we could upgrade this thing into a diesel. If I swallowed, I mean, I could also buy a 6 train, which doesn't make a ton of sense, because then this train will go away and I end there with a 6 train instead of a diesel that I could get otherwise. So I think at that point, swallowing doesn't help me a lot. I think I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to take that shot that I get now, which is very, very valuable, and I'm going to upgrade my train into a diesel. And that's 750 actually. Now the rules say that all the 4, 5 or 6 trains can be upgraded for 750 bucks into a diesel. So technically it's you know, the others could do it as well, but the problem is, as soon as the first diesel is purchased, and from what I understand this counts as a purchase, I'm pretty sure it does, I'm going to check it, but I'm pretty sure it does, the other 4 trains are all obsolete. So therefore, yeah, bad luck for everyone else who planned on doing so. So I'm pretty sure this counts as a purchase. It's not simply an upgrade. It says traded in for a reduced price. So I guess it's a purchase, and that means that all the 4 trains are now removed from the game. Now that's kind of a problem for some companies. You know, they were hoping for something better, and well, but okay. He was simply lucky that he was at the right space when the first 6 train was purchased. Okay, so, and he paid out, the THB paid out, so the stock value raised, and then it's the CV. Yeah, and they are now in the position that they say, fuck it, you know, but at least I'm gonna get a 6 train if I swallow. I want at least that. Or I could, I mean, that's an interesting question, you know. Do I want to buy myself a second train, or do I want to exchange this train into a D train? I think that 2 trains are stronger than a single D train. On the other hand, at the moment there's a ton of space on the map, so D train might be very powerful. We got to think this through. Anyway, for now, I'm gonna run that train and I will swallow because I only have 500 bucks, and I definitely want to improve my situation a little bit here. So yeah, it's a 5 train. We make a run and then we'll see where we end up. And of course I can also upgrade spaces. So I might be interested in, for example, making this now a city. That is now possible. That's kind of cool, because now I can kind of move through here. So I got a 5 train. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or maybe it's actually more reasonable. 1, 2. If I downgrade this other thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, I could go until here. Maybe that's a better idea. I think it might be worth a little more. So let's say, instead of upgrading this, I want to downgrade that. Just like this. So that means I could now start in Chicago and go there twice. So it's 80, 90, 170, 210, 260. That's pretty awesome. And yeah, now we got to make our choice. Well, first, I will definitely swallow 260. Okay. Share value drops, which kind of sucks, but okay, I think it's worth it. The question is, do I want to place a token somewhere? Well, now it gets really interesting. I mean, I think we still can hold to this agreement that nobody will block this city here. We did that until now, and I think I want to... I'm not an asshole here. I might want to roll a die on a 1. I might consider it. Nope. Okay. So what am I going to do now? Will I go and upgrade into a D train, or will I buy myself a 6 train? Let's check it out. Let's do some calculations here. In this case, it seems to me like the D train is more valuable. There are not too many tokens on the map. It seems like many companies will go for a D train. This one, that one, possibly this one here, although I'm not sure about it. They don't have quite the money, I think. They cannot get there, which really sucks for these poor guys. But there are still shares in here, but yeah, they probably have to buy a train now. So they are in a bad position here. They might have to buy the 6 train, which really sucks for them. It's just a few bucks. So I don't know if the president can help, but I think the cheapest train has to be purchased. Which is also an interesting factor. If I buy the 6 train, this guy can buy a D train. If I buy a D train, he has to buy a 6 train. Oh boy, many things to consider here. And I think I will roll a die. And on a 1 to 4, that's a tough call. I already hold a lot of interesting and strong positions, like this one. I'm over there, and in Toronto I'm here. So, but I cannot really, well, but kind of cut off this area here at the moment. I can only go until here, which is still pretty awesome though. But I don't know. I think I'm going to roll a die, and on a 1 to 4, I'm going to go for a D train. Yeah, okay, so let's do that. I'm going to exchange that thing for a D train. So that means I got to pay 750 bucks. Yeah. And then I can afford myself a D train. Okay, cool. Here's the thing, that 5 train is not gone. The 5 train goes in the open market, so if someone is interested in buying it, he can do so. And, well, you never know, someone might be. Now last is the CPR, and they cannot run. So all they got to do is they can place a tile somewhere. Yeah, and they will go down here toward Toronto, and for them it's a stupid position, obviously. Now I think there is a forced purchase now, so I think the player has to buy the cheapest train. And I think this Well, actually, there is no forced purchase. No, they simply can't afford the 700 and that's it. They have to buy that train and that's it. That sucks. So there goes... I mean, what happens if they buy a 5 train? Can they upgrade that 5 train? That's interesting. Can they upgrade the 5 train to a D train? It would be $1,300. Well, they don't have that. Well, they could swallow again in the next turn. I mean, for now, they cannot make a lot of money anyway, right? And the share value is also pretty low. But he holds 6 shares. Fuck. Oh boy, hard to tell, man. So yeah, it's actually my decision. I'm going to purchase that 5 train for 550 now. Swallow in the next run and then upgrade it to a diesel. Of course, I couldn't pay out, so the share value drops even further, which sucks. Yeah, that wasn't too great for the Canadian Pacific. That wasn't too great. Well, but okay. And then we come to the second operating round. Okay, so now the CGR will operate first. They don't have a train. First, they can also lay track and do all the stuff they usually do, right? Okay, so what is this player's goal? He can now try to interfere with other players and try to cause some problems here. Now here's the thing. Actually, that player, well, we'll see. First of all, I think I want to maximize the options for the CGR at that moment. Do I? Now the thing is, I'm considering placing a token in Toronto. If I do that, though, the CPR would be cut off, which sucks. I don't want to do that. So I'm not sure if I will allow that. Maybe I shouldn't at that point. The question is, do I want to try to invest heavily in the CGR? For example, I'm considering selling my Canadian Pacific shares in the next turn and really go for CGR shares. I think I can do that. At the moment I have the majority, so I think I can try to get, a ton of shares, right? And the Canadian isn't doing that great anyway. The shares are not worth a lot, so I might as well sell them and give a shit. I think that's what I want to do. So, I'm going to place... I got to do that in a clever way. Okay, I think for now I want to place it's more an investment in the future, I think. But if I place a token here, I can kind of make this crazy run. If I come from across the map here, I can try to go through here somehow and then make a run like that. But I also have to upgrade that. Maybe it's not that easy. Maybe I should upgrade that first just to make sure that nobody else pisses me off here. And I need exactly this tire. So I want to do that. I'm going to upgrade this tile just like that, because now basically you can kind of go in this circle here, which is insane, and then go back here, right, and go to Toronto. This is just amazing for everyone involved. So we're going to do that, and then I will place a station token that costs me $100 to do so. I'm going to place a station token in Toronto. Right here. It doesn't terribly help me at the moment because I cannot even do that. Look at that. I cannot even do that because I'm cut off there. I can't place that token. Okay, so I'm not going to upgrade this. Let me see if I find the right one here. The double O that I had before. Well, it was obviously this one. And it was like that, yeah. I'm not going to upgrade this, but I'm going to upgrade Toronto instead. And then it's a big city. One single city worth 100. And I'm going to place now a station token there. Because I think Toronto is always worth owning a station there. And you cannot make these double hits there anymore because now it's just a single city. So some people are pissed by that, but I think for the CGI it's actually pretty good. Okay, so that was the token placement and the tile placement, and now what we do is we run our trains. I already told you there is no forced purchase. If the CGR does not have a train, and only then, it can borrow a D train from the offer. It doesn't take the train, it just uses it for a single run. And I can now make a run which is going to be insanely powerful. Not quite as good as it could be because I cannot hook up like this. So I cannot go through here and through Toronto. But anyway, this is going to be a completely crazy run, and because I also have options to go here and wherever. So we'll see how much that is in the end. Well, yeah, let's find out. Okay, so for the moment I made 550. That is not quite as much as I was hoping. But basically I could go like this, ramp, like this, gotta go up here, through here, go here, and then like this. I think that's the best I could have done. I'm going to count once more, but I'm pretty sure that's all I have. I think it's indeed 550. So I'm not allowed to pay a dividend as long as I don't own a train. So it means simply I'm going to get 550 and I'm going to swallow. As I said, the share value will not drop because the price is frozen there until I have a train. Now, by the end of the next turn, I can start, I can purchase a train, and then the turn following that, I can do my runs. It's a question, do I want to, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Whatever. Do I want to sell my Canadian stuff, you know, and I mean, I probably have to swallow with the Canadian also once more until it gets really profitable to get a D train there. So therefore, I don't think, I think I will place my bets on the Canadian government. Okay. So they operate it. I'm just going to flip it. And then we have the LPS. And they're simply, they can't do a lot, they have to buy a train. So the LPS also has the money easily to afford a diesel. But they couldn't run this turn, sadly. So the share price drops. It was planned differently, but yeah, that kind of sucked for them. They really wanted to make a run with their 4 train and then buy the diesel and upgrade the other train, but it wasn't possible. Bad luck for them. So, then we have the BBG with their 5 train. They are going to simply make a run and pay out. I'm going to upgrade this thing like that. It's not in the best interest of the people who have a diesel, but that's okay. Because I only have a 5 train, the LPS who has a diesel might get cut off here. So they are more interested in operating in this area. And because it kind of makes this hook a little less attractive, but yeah, it definitely does actually. Definitely does. That's wait a minute. If I start now here, 1, 2, 3. Nah, it's also not that great for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. The idea is then to go that way, 5. Yeah. I think I want to leave it that way. That's okay for me. Okay. Yeah, why not? So, let's see. It's 140, 90, 240, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can start a little earlier. It kind of sucks. I mean, I could also make a little more. Well, but I can. Yeah, then I can go like this, which is kind of sweet. Okay, yeah. So 100. Let's start up here. 20, 120, 60, 210, like this, and then 260, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, I think this is how I can go. I start in Chicago, move down here like this, make that turn, go through here like this, and that is already, yeah, no, I can't do that, shit. I thought I could then move here, but that's not possible because I already took that small space here. But, wait a minute, if I go from Chicago down here and then go like this, yeah, that's possible. Then I can go here, move down here like this, and end up here in Hamilton. Sounds like a good run. Let's see what we get for that. That's 100, 140, 190, 240, 290, 320, 350, 360, 380. So that's 440 for the THB, and of course we're going to pay out. Now the CV is upgrading Hamilton because they cannot use that cool loop here because the THB blocks it in the end. So therefore they say, okay, fuck it. I'm going to upgrade Hamilton. There is this special tile here for Hamilton. And now I can at least get there. The question is, how do I can now use this way basically. So I can now start here, for example, go through the rondo, then somehow go like this. Yeah, exactly. Can go. Sadly, I cannot. I gotta go like this. I cannot use that. I have to before I have to somehow make a connection here. But I can go like this through Toronto, go here, then through here, and let me see. I'm afraid I cannot take that. I mean, I could take it if I went like this, but if I go, oh shit, if I go like this, I can go here and then here, which is even better. That's a 390 run for the Credit Valley. And it's interesting to see that the Grand Trunk did a 470 run with the 5 and a 6 strain, while the Credit Valley only did a 390 run with a D train. So maybe they didn't make the right decision here. On the other hand, I got a feeling if they can make a connection like this, they can go this loop too, and then they are doing pretty well. Yeah, it's a tough decision. I'm not sure. Maybe there are better options, but I don't think so, actually. Actually, I think I can make 410 if I start down here, then go like this, and I don't take this way here, but instead I go up here and then like this. I think that makes me 410, but yeah, for some reason it's not quite as good as I thought it would be. The CPR did lay track here and then made this ridiculous run here with a 5 train, just 4 stations. It was a 150 run. It paid out, so the guy at least has some money. The share value also rises, and this idea is basically to sell 4 shares of the Canadian Pacific and then to reinvest in the Canadian government, which is probably right now the most potent. Yeah, the Grand Trunk is also pretty awesome, but there are no more shares available. So I think I want to invest in the Canadian then and hope that I get as much as possible. Okay, so that's it for now. A lot of things changed during this turn, whatever you want to call it, during this cycle of operating rounds. The Canadian formed, a few went away, a few pretty good companies actually went away. And now we are in the last phase. All the trains are out, even the D trains, a few of them at least. Question is, how long will this game continue now? Well, I think it might continue at least for one more cycle. The runs are not as impressive as I thought. So, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. So, hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye. And I'm back because I realized I have to do another operating round. From phase 4, we actually have 3 operating rounds. So that means we got to go through another one. I'm not sure how much I actually want to do this on camera because I don't expect too much interesting things to happen. But if there's something remarkable, I'll let you know. The Canadian government did another operating round, borrowed another train. This time it was 570, and that allows them now to buy a D train, and if they can buy one, they have to. So for 1,100 bucks, they hold now a D train, and then in the next turn, they also could pay out. So the THB, first they are paying 40 bucks to kind of make a connection here, which is pretty cool because now you can go like this and make a lot of money that way. And then they might actually place a token. The question is where. Maybe here. That sounds like a very important part because it kind of connects east and west of Canada. So if you have a token there, might be very useful. I'm not absolutely convinced though. Well, actually, yeah, I think I want to do it. You know, it also cuts off other people, the LPS. In a way, maybe even the CGR, they cannot make these, you know, kind of circle runs or whatever. And yeah, I think it kind of fucks everyone up who is at the moment running a D train. It's not terrible, you know, you can upgrade this city and then upgrade this city and then you can somehow make a connection, I guess. But it's not that easy. Okay, so that was 80 bucks. Pretty expensive, but I think it was worth it. I don't have much money left now in the treasury, but I think that's okay. And I'm going to do my run and pay out. And I can now do a pretty cool run. I can basically start here, go like this up to here. And then it's a little interesting, and I'm not sure exactly how I want to do that. Shit, I don't really know actually. Would be cool to go like this, because then I could go down here, and then like this, and later like this. But I think actually I'm not going to go to Toronto. Instead I'm going to do this run down here, go here, maybe here, like this, and then up here. I might go that way then, and then here. I think this is the best I have. Sadly, I cannot reach Toronto, but I think this is simply not possible. We would need a second connection here or something. Yeah, as expected, the tile placement or the station placement of the THB here did affect, for example, the LPS. The THB with their D train, they had a 540 run. The LPS only managed to make 320 because they were blocked here now. They placed a city here. They upgraded this double dot to a city, trying to cut through here. If they upgrade this city into a brown tile, they can do it. And then trying to get access to these eastern parts again. But at least in this turn, they definitely lost a few bucks. So the CV managed to do an insane run, 700. That's what they had. This is by far the most, and it might also remain the most, because I could assume that other people want to block this. We basically started up here in the Canadian West, went down here over Barrie. Now this is here one line. This city got upgraded, by the way. Go to Toronto. We got out a token here, so we can move through Toronto, in here, through here, there, Goderich, go down here again, this way, here, Hamilton, then we go there, and then like this to Buffalo. So that is just completely crazy, and that gave us 700 bucks. Yeah, just an insane run, no doubt about that. And of course we're going to pay out here, there is no doubt. Okay, the Canadian managed to do a 250 run, which is also by far the best they had until now. They were not connected to Toronto, but now they finally are. So, yeah, seems like I'm done now. As you can see here, there's not a ton of money left in here, so I guess, nah, it's hard to say. There will probably go a lot more money in because of the Canadian government railways shares. I assume a lot of people will invest in these, especially because we have a lot of money out here. We can already see that this guy is quite a bit behind. He sits at 700 bucks. All the others have about 1,000 or more. This guy isn't doing too well either. He's a little below 1,000. This guy is at 1,200. This guy is sitting at 1,300. This guy has also 1,000. So I guess it's probably between these three players here. The Grand Trunk did an amazing run last turn. So did the Credit Valley. And yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing is, of course, that the Credit Valley is not worth a lot. So that's kind of the disadvantage of this guy. It's one of the lesser valuable shares. But on the other hand, you know, it's not such a massive discrepancy. I mean, it is. The Credit Valley is sitting at 100. The BGG is 150. Okay, that's not that interesting. But for, yeah, it's such a big difference, you know. We got 125 for the THB, which this guy is holding. And the Grand Trunk is at 110. So, you know, the three most important companies right now, the GT, the CV, and the THB, are just, I don't know, I think about 25 different in share value. That's not too much. And so, yeah, we'll see where this goes. And especially because this guy, he also holds shares of the THB and of the Grand Trunk. That gives him definitely another advantage here. Yeah, so, as I said, we'll see where we end up, and hope to see you on the next video or on lonesomegamer.com. Bye. And damn, I made another mistake, I realize now. When I did that massive run with the Credit Valley, I couldn't have done that because here was a green city and there was no connection here. So I could not make that big circle like this, you know. So what I did is I made a connection to here when I did that big run. So I could start up here, you know, go like this, make that circle here, and then like this. Okay, cool. That wasn't possible. Instead, I must upgrade this thing first. So I now kind of reduced my revenue by the amount I would have gained from these spaces here, right? Which was 130 overall. And then I only made this run like this, which is still, in the end, I think it was 570 or something. Yeah. So, and that again affects the CPR, because this was not existing, so it had to lay that track first to make a connection to Toronto, which in my game they downgraded then, which would not have been possible. So now they will not hit this, and instead they go from here, Georgian Bay, down here to Toronto, because that's 5, and that means they will lose $40. Okay, so see you.